sexy. We are sexy, yeah.
Hello everyone at Luke Rides. Hello, Luke Rides is back with a interesting episode for you, where we are now getting into, well, what would usually be motorcycle maintenance, but we're doing something different today. We're going into car maintenance. So what we have here is a BMW 335i straight six cylinders, 3 litre with 2 ginormous turbos under that engine,
Good God.
making this a Junior Supercar. This is the Junior Supercar of Germany.
Holy shit.
And you would very rarely find it very hard to find something like this because they're just so super rare, especially in the saloon format. But over 300 horsepower.
Oh my God!
Holy shit.
That's right, for over 300 horsepower to those massive rear wheels.
Fuck me.
Just take into account most cars maybe have 200 horsepower, high performance car.
Goddamn
so this
right.
BMW is packing more horsepower and more torque than most cars on the road.
He's right. Do you know that?
Holy shit.
Making this an absolute ballistic missile and certainly a tyre shredder. You can definitely kick out the back end, and this is likes to make the traction control come on when you put the power on. So yeah, this is a bit of a beast of a car.
Holy shit.
But how do you do an oil change on something like this?
Goddamn
go through
right.
that today, from start to finish.
Yay! It's showtime.
We're getting to a stage now where we can start fitting our fresh new oil filter. So what's important is you just make sure you get your tooling right. This is quite a handy tool here. But also what you're going to need, and the last thing you're going to need, is this thing. This is a rack. Make sure that your pan that you only use for oil filters is next to you, ready to take in your old oil filter, because it is going to start dribbling oil really quickly. So make sure your ratchet's in the undo position. Get yourself in a good spot where you can put some decent leverage on your ratchet.
Goddamn right.
Yeah, see, at this point the oil filter is literally undone. So the easiest thing to do is this. Get the oil filter ready, pull it out. Make sure your pan's right next to you. Be nice and gentle. There you go. Now, there's no point using old seals. So we're going to replace them.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
So let's see if this oil filter... Yeah, look at that. How very German was that? It just came out like whack.
Fucking A.
So the next stage is how do we replace these seals? We are going to need what is called a pick. We're just going to need a pick. Something like this will do. So I'm just using the pick now to see if I can dislodge this darn the seal. So what I'm doing is just very gently using the tool, like so. And thank you, Bosch, for being boshy and amazing at what you do. Look what we've got. We've got a fresh new one. P9269, made in Germany. Now that's pretty nice. This BMW was built in Germany.
Well then, Basil, this looks like a case for double behave.
And this is a 1457429
Groovy, baby.
Alright, so at this point we can try and force the little rubber seal in, so we'll give that a go. Result. Look at this. We have got one of the first seals into our oil filter housing. So that's some progress right there. So that's the first seal in. But now we've got our second seal. You can see that the pick is just doing a very helpful job at working on that old rubber seal, and look how easy that was, guys, is if you get the fresh new black seal a little bit oily, just get it a little bit oily, it doesn't have to be super oily. What you're going to do is just help make the seal, the new seal, go down the canister a little easier. And there you go. One new, fresh seal. It doesn't seem to matter which way it's supposed to go in. So when you're ready, what you're going to do is pop this oil filter in. And you see it seals like so. So what's the next part of this job?
Incredible.
So at this point, we're now ready to take all of the old engine oil and get it out of the straight six twin turbo, this Junior Supercar. Let's get started. So one of the things that I have not done is I haven't opened the oil filler cap at the top of the BMW engine. Do you know why I haven't done that? The oil filler cap here. I might as well just leave the filler cap closed and just leave it as it is.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Here she goes. So now we have located the sump bung for the straight six engine, a ratchet, and you'll need a 17mm socket as well. So what we're going to do is, all I'm going to do is just loosen off the nut, dead on the bolt, because you don't want it to slip. We are going to use a bucket in the garage that takes in used oil. And then you can actually take the bucket and put it on this stand that's usually used for gearboxes. But that's okay. You just need a way to hold the bucket up close to where the engine oil is about to come out. And make sure you capture that oil. Alright, so you've got to be quick. Oh, that oil was freaking hot. And what I'm doing is just controlling the flow of oil. And it's nearly there. Okay, I would say I'm at a point now where I can leave the oil drum to it. And I just need to tidy up this sump bung bolt. And it's quite messy stuff we're dealing with here. So, okay, away we go. I'm going to need a fresh pair of gloves because the stuff is just so oily. You're part of the brides, yo! we've got an awesome chap helping out. I'm just going to get a rag to see if I can help.
I've done it many times. That bit's in the middle is probably me.
Oh, I know what you mean. Once you're happy you've cleaned up the sump bung, don't be afraid at this point to let's replace the copper washer here on the sump bung itself. The next question for you all is, why do I need, or why do I have a washer in my oil sump bung? Well, because as you saw, what you have stopping that's the over 6 litres of engine oil for the BMW 335 engine coming out is actually the threads. They're the sort of calipers that just go, yeah, you're stopping at 150 miles an hour.
He's right. Do you know that?
Holy shit!
That's pretty good. So yeah, I'm kind of at a point now where I'm happy, and I'm actually going to button up the sump bung, and then we're going to install our fresh new filter. So this tape here is called PTFE. That there's an extra seal there. I don't recommend using the ratchet to first insert your sump bung and using the ratchet to tighten up the sump bung when you first go in. Why wouldn't you do that? Because think about what you're working with here. This metal isn't stainless steel. This metal is aluminium. Once a sump bong won't go in any further by hand, this is where you can then bring out your torque wrench.
And we need to tighten it enough so it's tight, but also we need to crush the copper crush washer.
25 Newton meters. And we've used the TPFE, so yeah, quality seal, brake cleaner, and it's cleaned up this area. Because we can. It's a good idea to clean this area up, because why wouldn't you? Okay, when it comes to disposing of your old engine oil, dispose of it properly. Don't put it down the sink. Do not put it down the drain, because this stuff's carcinogenic. It will kill soil. It will damage water. It will make water undrinkable. It's really nasty stuff. So make sure you dispose of your old engine oil properly. Super low. Super low for performance. Don't be underneath the ramp, Ben. Alright, one ramp is down. Let's insert our fresh oil filter and the filter housing cap, and let's get to work. See, there's still some old engine oil left in the filter housing. Now, it doesn't have to take a rag that you're going to dispose of or clean up anyways, and soak up that oil. So we are going to insert it by hand to start with. So just keep going until it kind of won't get any more tighter. For the oil filter housing, you need to torque down the cover, the filler cover, to 25 Newton meters. Literally keep going and tightening up the cover, the oil filter cover, because once it tightens up, and you can see I can't put any more force on the ratchet, the oil seals that we installed earlier, the fresh new seals, have all bedded in, and you're crushing the rubber seal in, and that's it. You sealed that unit. It is torqued down effectively, and it's all good. You can just get your rag and just kind of tidy up a few bits and stuff just while you're here. And the Newton meters for this oil filter cover on the top of the actual cover. They've engraved it into the plastic. I've never seen that on any other car. That's very BMW, that is. Very proper. Good work, BMW. We're now at the last stage, which is we need to put some lovely fresh oil into this beautiful straight six. Now, what you've got to keep in mind is when you're looking at this BMW engine, what do you notice? There's no dipstick. Most engines have a dipstick because it's cheaper for the manufacturer. But this BMW instead uses a more expensive electronic dipstick. So what I'm saying here is you need to be careful not to overfill this engine, or you're going to get yourself into trouble. Of a dipstick, you can take a reading like within seconds, but with the electronic dipstick, you can't take a reading until the engine's up and running. How much oil does this puppy take? With filter, 6.5 litres. What oil have we gone for this lovely BMW little Junior Supercar? We have gone for top tier, high performance, Castrol Edge TFS oil. Covering here so that there's no chance that oil could potentially spill. So at this point, what you're going to do is cut into the cover. And you notice how I've just pushed the tinfoil, this plastic tinfoil seal, and I've actually pushed it into the can. Okay, so let's open up the cap. The time is 2:20. So you're just going to put the first can of engine oil for your BMW. You're literally going to put the whole lot in there because it's 5 litres. You're going to need to put 5 litres in anyways. And just sit there and just keep pouring away. It's lovely and clear, lovely oil, very very nice, fully synthetic. Now we have 5 litres in the BMW engine already, but now we only want to put in there another 1.5 litres. Only 1.5 litres. If we go over that, we could start overfilling the engine, and that's a very bad idea. It's a very bad move. So we're going to take our second oil can now. So far so good. I'm going to open it up. Same technique as before, remember that. Why Castrol? Why? So why are we going for Castrol here? One thing I really recommend, professional tip here: do not put in cheap engine oil into an engine like this, into a car like this. Now, on small engines, let's say a 1.5 or a 2 litre engine, doesn't really matter. You know, they're not high performance engines that go through a lot of stress and produce a lot of power. So the internal components aren't having a hard time and taking in a lot of wear. So that doesn't matter. But when you're dealing with something like this, a BMW Junior Supercar, a Junior Supercar, producing over 300 horsepower to the rear wheels and lots of torque.
He's right. Do you know that?
Holy shit!
The engine's got high performance, so it goes through a lot of stress, a lot of wear, especially if you're pounding it. And the engine oil is there to make sure the internal components, or the metal components, the turbos, you know, the feed lines, the pistons, the rings inside the pistons, the casing, that as all these parts are moving around producing all this power, is the oil is making sure that that the metal isn't making direct contact, that the turbo bearings aren't overheating, that the turbo bearings are keeping cool, and keeping the engine safe, keeping all the parts safe and reliable. But if you use cheap oil, it's going to do a pretty fucking awful job at doing that. Excuse my French, but it will do a fucking awful job at doing that. You could, you know, feel that you are building a lot more carbon in your engine. The turbos don't sound particularly healthy. Just lots of little things, and all that's going to lead to is parts failing down the line. So don't do that to yourself. And we got a helpful dude over there keeping an eye on us. He's being really good. Alright, let's pierce this bugger. So what are you going to do? You're going to take a tool like this. You're just going to make a cut. And you're going to open up this puppy. Okay, and then at that point you're just going to push in the rest of the tin foil. Make sure it's out of the way. And here we go. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because obviously you've got to keep in mind that we only want to put in so much engine oil. And don't be afraid to just kind of stop, check your readings. we've just added about 1.5 litres of oil. And why do I say just about 1.5 litres of oil? I say that because obviously at the moment what we have is a dry new oil filter. So what that means is that this oil filter is actually going to absorb some of that new oil, and actually we're going to lose, we could lose about 400 millilitres of engine oil inside the engine, remember, from the fresh oil that we've just put in. So at this point what we're going to do is fire up the straight 6 twin turbo, and then we're going to get a live reading from the computer on how much oil is inside the engine. But yeah, we've made really good progress today. Yeah, this is where we're just letting the engine settle down. We're just letting the engine get herself up to temperature. But in the meantime, don't be afraid to have a little look around. Check for any potential leaks of oil. Obviously we don't want any bits of oil leaking. At this point we're going to need to, let's go to I with the BMW I Drive System. Amazing system though, I've got to say for you guys, the BMW I Drive System is an amazing like computer to have on board the car. We've just completed the oil change with the BMW 335i, and the electronic dipstick is picking up a reading of bang on what we're looking for, maximum. So this lovely BMW engine's is at max capacity. It's got plenty of engine oil, and she's ready to go. Fresh new oil filter and fresh new oil. So if you have the BMW I Drive System with the professional navigation system, which this one was upgraded to, this is where you go. You press the I in the center by pressing on the iDrive button. Info sources, service. Okay, this is what you're going to see when you go into service. Now knock the iDrive knob up, engine oil level, press down again, and there's your reading. Bang on. What an awesome job for a Junior Supercar, that is a BMW. And and also for the client, also for the client, it's always nice to know the automatic lights are turned back on. And look at that sexy front end. Very BMW. Great work.
The way we...
The little rascal has fluid. As water.
This is the end of the trail for me.
Thank you.
Thank you, kid.
And the last thing to mention is something that you're going to do if you have performed the full oil change yourself, is just don't be afraid over the next couple of days to get down on the floor. You're just checking to make sure there's no even one dribble of oil on the floor, and feel free to pop the bonnet. You're just checking that there's no oil leaks. It's not that there's going to be any oil leaks, but you just take into consideration that obviously all you have to prevent any oil leaks around the sump bung and the oil filter are rubber seals, and it's always just good practice just to make sure you check those areas. You do that no matter what it is, no matter if it's a French car, German car, Japanese car, whether it's a supercar or a junior supercar. It's something you should do. It's good practice anyways, and if you're happy, then nothing there, then presto, you're done. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, baby, yeah!